Sound money, physical gold, physical silver is above all governments and central banks. Universal, decentralized, and when you hold it, it's private. There is a finite amount of physical gold and silver. There's an infinite amount of money printing. This is not rocket science. It's just simple logic. You know, I know that you've often heard me say that sound money, physical gold, physical silver is above all governments and central banks. Well, today I'm going to show you why I say that and truly what that actually means. Because sound money, physical gold, again, physical silver is universal, decentralized, and when you hold it, it's private. Something that's very important in this day and age where really we have basically no privacy. But you know, gold and silver were the original money, constitutionally supported. Only states, the only money is gold and silver. So this is constitutional money pre-1965. And it had these characters. Money needed to have these characteristics. A unit of account for fair pricing, a medium of exchange for barterability and trading. If I give you this, you'll give me that. A short-term store of value for current fair payments, so you're fairly paid for your labor, and a long-term store of value so that no matter when you use that money, you're always fairly paid for the value of the labor that originally created it. We talk about this regularly. So real money, sound money, has these four functions, and every single portfolio needs to have a foundation in sound money. No matter whatever else you do, that is proper diversification. But why is gold and silver above central banks and above governments? Well, because you hear me say this all the time, but I'm going to show you. It's used in every single sector of the global economy. So that's really what puts it above that. It's above all governments, all central banks, because of that supply and demand factor. There is a finite amount of physical gold and silver. There's an infinite amount of money printing. But let me show you the different places that they're used. We don't have to go through each individual one. I just put these into categories, and they're different users for gold on one side and silver on the other. This is for government and financial system. So you can see the gold and silver uses here. Here's industrial and commercial uses. You can see the uses of gold and silver here. I mean, this is a pretty substantial listing, don't you think? This is for consumer and luxury goods. Can you see all of the line items and the way that physical gold and silver is used? And are you starting to get a sense for why it's above governments and central bankers, which are all localized? It's also used in bullion and the numismatic, both gold and silver. And then finally, technology and innovation. So if I ran all of those line items down, can you see when I say to you that it has the broadest base of functionality and the broadest base of buyer? Because every single one of those many line items for physical gold and physical silver, that's demand. But things like US dollars or any fiat money, intangible stocks that can only be converted into this garbage, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, bonds, all of those things that are dollar or currency denominated. How many places are those things used in? One place. So when that demand dries up, what have you got? You've got over 4,800 fiat currencies that do not exist anymore because the demand went away as the inflation increased. This is not rocket science. It's just simple logic. One place versus many places. And what's it based on? Debt and leverage. And while that may work for a while, it does not work forever. Because at some point, there's absolutely zero value in this. And that's where we are right now. Because there is a finite amount of anything physical, gold and silver. So let's take a look at that. Look, there's roughly 190,000 tons of gold. That's that little teeny house that you see compared to all the gold that has ever been mined and all the gold that's still in the ground. And that's it. That's it. And the same thing with silver, which actually does get used up. And you can see that there's a lot more silver that has been mined than gold, but still there is a finite amount of it. And this is critical for you to see. And so when you have the broadest base of buyer, so lots of entities that want to buy it, but you have a finite amount of it, honestly, is it really any surprise that you see spot gold above 4,600 an ounce at the moment that I did this, and spot silver above $85 an ounce? And that isn't even marginally near its true fundamental value either. But this is why fiat currencies can be created at will, created at debt, an infinite amount. The only time they have to stop this is never. But what does that do to all of the fiat money that's already out there? It makes it take more and more dollars to buy the same goods and services. It's not the stock market's going up. It's not the houses going up or real estate going up. It's in this country, in the U.S., it's the dollar losing value. That's why when they created this system, they said not one man in a million understands inflation. And that's what enabled them to get away with it. But are you going to continue to allow them to get away with it? Because I'm not. I'm going to fight to get redeemable gold back in the system so they can't get away with it. Because how long can you grow this debt? Right? To the moon? My point is the more debt we grow, the less confidence the world has in the debt that's already out there, the less value that it has. And when you have debt, as you know, you got to pay interest on that debt. And that's what you're looking at right now. And that interest has gone exponential since in 2022, global central banks started to raise the interest rates on the debt to fight the inflation, because I want you to keep in mind that there's only one way to fight inflation, and that's with deflation. That's why they raised the interest rates, so fewer people would borrow and spend. The problem is they never really tightened credit availability, so all of that blah, blah, blah talk is just garbage, right? This continues to be the loosest economic conditions ever, but we still have to pay that interest on the debt, let alone the debt. And this at the same time that what's happening, the world is turning away from our debt. This is really a run on the dollar. And when did that start? 2008, when the system died. But they need these things to happen over a long period of time so that the public doesn't really understand what's happening and they don't move to protect themselves with sound money. And also food, water, energy, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter. It is critical that no matter where you are in the world, you are as independent and self-sufficient as possible, because the people that are in the know are liquidating. They're getting out. They are transferring the risk. They are transferring the problems to you. What are you going to do about it? Do you want something that they can control? Or do you really want something that is above all governments and central bankers? Because into the first half of this year, central bank gold buyer has picked up pace in recent months. You think? Because I do. And why would they do that? Because who knows more? Oh, I wish that would happen to them. But frankly, who knows more about what they're doing to the currency than central bankers? I personally think you should do what the smartest guys in the room on any given topic are doing for themselves. And the smart money is in gold and silver. And the smarter money is working with me on a global movement, a global sound money movement to get redeemable gold back in the system again so that governments and central banks can no longer abuse us. What a concept. Take your power back. Take our power back. Let's make a positive difference for the world. If we come together, we can do that. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.